What it be, what it be, what it do, what it do. It's your host Dave with the Dave and Blue Show. Tell your mama, your cousin, and your bro to like, share, and subscribe to the Dave and Blue Show. We lit. Yeah! Alright, so we have our preview analysis here this morning. This morning, like, it's an hour before kickoff, but I've been busy, so I had to, put this together. But Week 5, University of Michigan Wolverines football team versus the Wisconsin Badgers, the inferior Weasels. So we are going to do a quick preview video here and, go from there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about their offense, a little bit about their defense, and then give my prediction, see what we have to do to stop them. So, first off, their offense. We're going to start with their offense and kind of go from there. So, they average 117.8 rushing yards a game with 3.1 average rushing yards per carry. And their leading rusher is Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones has 154 rushing yards, and he's averaging 35.4 yards a game. That's not going to cut it against us, unfortunately, my brother. So, because we're only allowing 89 rushing yards per game defensively. So, unfortunately, that's just not going to do. But we'll see. We are in the process of putting together a more stout defense and really getting healthy because Zeke Berry and Jair Hill should be coming back, hopefully. I haven't seen the injury report yet, so I'm not sure. We are in the process of getting those guys back, so we'll kind of see how that goes. I'm looking up here. So we're actually allowing 77.5 rushing yards a game, so even less than 89 originally. So, 35 yards a game is not going to cut it, brother. So, Wisconsin more than likely is going to have to lean on their passing attack because they may have the number one rush defense, but we have a pretty dang good rush defense too. So, they are going to really have to, if they're going to even try to run the ball, which I don't think they will, because I've heard Luke Fickell, he's a little bit more pass happy, so I don't believe they're going to be trying to run the ball very much. The thing is, we are kind of unsure, at least I'm unsure right now, about who is going to be their starting quarterback because Billy Edwards has been hurt and their backup quarterback has been Danny O'Neal. So we'll kind of see how that goes. They are, let's see, there's 74 completions for 111 attempts with 5 interceptions and 6 touchdowns in the total for the year. And 5 of those touchdowns are from their backup Danny O'Neal, and those 5 interceptions are also from their backup Danny O'Neal because he's been the starter. He is 60 for 85 total for the year, and he's at 70.6% completion rating. So it's pretty, honestly, it's not a horrible completion rating, but when you look at how many passes and attempts he's thrown per game, he's looking at about 15 completions on 21 attempts per game. And if you add in that he's had 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions there, that's not great. That's not great. But that's neither here nor there. So essentially, they have average of 205 passing yards a game, and between both quarterbacks, they have 66% completion rate. So, we'll see. If Danny O'Neal's the starter, I've heard that Danny O'Neal's not overly mobile. But if Billy Edwards is the starter, then there's a possibility that Billy Edwards he's more mobile, but he's been injured, so we'll see. Like I said before with our major keys to the game, right? The defense got to create pressure on the quarterback, and whichever quarterback it is, because Billy Edwards is not going to be as mobile as he normally is. Billy Edwards is transferred in from Maryland. He's that tall guy who ran in for a couple of touchdowns when we played them in, I want to say it was 2023. He was the guy who punched it into the goal line multiple times. When he transferred, we were trying to actually bring him into Michigan, but then he ended up going to Wisconsin. But he's a pretty big dude, but he's been hurt again. So we'll see if he plays. They also have, Like I said before, they have this O'Neal, Danny O'Neal. And they also have that freshman quarterback, Carter Smith, who was originally, I think he was committed to Michigan, and or he was a very heavy lean towards Michigan, and then last minute he either flipped or committed to Wisconsin. I think he committed to Michigan, decommitted, and went to Wisconsin once we got Bryce Underwood, I believe. So, but yeah, so their passing game is nothing to really worry about. Their leading receiver is their tight end. Lance Mason is their starting tight end, and he's their leading receiver with 177 receiving yards total for the season so far. And he averages about 3.5 catches per game on 12 yards a catch. So he's either not getting a lot of targets per game, or he's not getting a ton of catches per game. But the catches he does get are chunk plays because he's averaging 12 yards a catch. So he's getting some decent, either yak or just catching it and receiving yards. So, I mean, just limiting him is going to be important. They have another receiver. They have a receiver who has their tight end has 14 receptions and for 177 yards, and then the receiver has 12 for, I think, 161 yards. So between those two, they also have a couple other guys that are in 100-yard range, but for the most part, right, you just have to make sure that they are not running free and clear because they're getting catches at depth. Like, they're gaining 12 yards or 13 or 14 yards a catch. So they may not throw it a lot, but the throws that they do get are chunk plays. So we just have to limit those chunk plays and not let those beat us. That's where I said before the defensive backs need to continue to grow and develop and lock in for this game so we don't allow anything that we shouldn't allow. So I'm sorry for the overhead noise, guys. I'm outside this morning. But yeah, so, so we just have to limit those chunk pass plays that they have because their rushing offense is not anything to be worried about either. Honestly, they're all around, they're just struggling. If you watch the film, they're struggling. So, I mean, it is what it is. You just kind of have to not overlook them. You can't overlook them. So, we'll see. But, Danny O'Neal, he's got 15 completions a game on 21 attempts, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So, I mean, you break that down, 5 times 3 is 15. So, I mean, 15 completions. He's got the interceptions, too. That's kind of a lot of interceptions for averaging 21 pass attempts a game and 15 completions. It's not great. It's not great. I'll just say that. And it's only been 4 games. That's not great. That is not great at all. So we can capitalize on that. We can get pressure on them, and if we can turn the ball over. So those are some of the keys, like I said yesterday, getting pressure on the quarterback, creating turnovers, and the defensive backs locking in. So, and they are allowing 200. So you look on the flip side on their defense, right? We know their run defense is number 1 in the country, but we still have to stop their run. They have to try and stop our running game. So we're averaging 242 yards per game rushing. So we have to make sure that we're able to develop and establish the running game and really make them prove that they're the number 1 team in rush defense in the country. Like I said in my video yesterday, if they hold us under 150 rushing yards this game, I'll believe that they're the number 1 rush defense. But I don't see that happening. Because, 1, we run the ball 38 times a game. That's 1. Their average rush attempts against them by opponents is like 23.7, rounded up to 24. So they're getting automatically from us 14 more rushes than they've had to deal with every game. And who's to say we don't just bludgeon them and run it a million times just to break them down? I personally am not one that would want that. I'd rather us run it a little and play action, but we'll see. So, all in all, they're allowing 234.5 receiving yards per game on 8.23 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, and they've given up a total of 938 passing or receiving yards total, So Yeah, they do average 35 minutes about of possession a game, so they're holding the ball for quite a long time. So the key is if we can score early on them and then stop them. If we go up 14-0 or 21-3 or something like that, it's wraps. I mean, I think the game's going to be over anyway, but if we go up quickly like I know we can, the game's going to be over before halftime. So, also, their pass defense is ranked 89th in the country. You know who else's pass defense is around that? I'll give you a second to think about it. Central Michigan. Central Michigan's pass defense is ranked 90th. And Wisconsin's pass defense is ranked 89th. So, we threw for about, I believe against Central Michigan, it was 240 or 250. And Bryce had I think it was a passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns that game, or maybe 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, something like that. But, I mean, if they're on Central Michigan's level in the passing game, and if we have Marlon Klein healthy, Hogan Hansen healthy, and we are experimenting with putting in a couple of the different receivers instead of Samaj and Goodwin for this game, shoot, I mean, it could get ugly in the passing game if they really wanted to, and I hope they do. So, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then special teams, we just have to, please just catch the ball, guys. Just catch the ball, fair catch it, or let it bounce on the punt return specifically. We haven't really done really too much in the kick return game. So, we have to fix that. Special teams, unfortunately, we just have poor special teams this year. Other than Zavada, like, even our punter is not doing great right now. So, but we'll see. I mean, it won't come down to special teams this game. We just need it to be steady, and we can't give up stuff to them. So, yeah, that's it. And then red zone. As long as we can get in the red zone, which I know we will, we're going to be good because they, again, allow opponents 100% completion of red zone targets. So 5 touchdowns it's 8 of 8. All their opponents have scored at will in the red zone every time. 8 trips down to the red zone for their opponents, 8 completions. They had 5 touchdowns for any one of their opponents, all of them together, 5 touchdowns and 3 field goals. They're 8 for 8 in the red zone. Their red zone defense is awful. So if we get in the red zone, it's money. So that's it. That's going to be the preview video. I'll give you guys my prediction right now. As soon as this helicopter goes over, or planes. That's actually pretty cool. All right, so I was tossing around this idea in my head of if the receivers are on point, we'll win by more. If the receivers are not on point, we won't win by as much. So, but I'm going to take that into account and just kind of, I will say, as a median between what I think it could be if the receivers do well and what I think it could be if they continue to play how they've been playing, I will say 35 to, let's give them, I'll say 35 to 3. I'll say 35 to 3. Yeah, I'll say 35 to 3. If the receivers are playing well though, like really like improved, and or please put my boy Browder in there and Marsh. We'll see. But anyway, if the receivers show improvement, even if it is, I don't hate Goodwin, I don't hate Samaj, I love both of them. But we need catches, guys. Your receivers. So anyway, if we see improvement from them and they can catch, or if we or they bring somebody else in and they're making catches and we can get some passing touchdowns, we're gonna blow them out even worse. But I'll go 35 to 3, and that'll be my prediction. So yeah, that'll be it. So tell your mama, your cousin, your bro to like, share, and subscribe to the Dave and Blue Show. Go Blue, beat the Badgers.